Hello friends, thank you for watching my video. What you're going to see in this video is a series that I practiced when I was pregnant with each of my two babies. At the time I got pregnant the first time, I'd been practicing yoga for about 5 years and practicing Ashtanga just for about a year, and my teacher had arranged Mysore sessions for some of us who wanted to come and practice that way. So when I got pregnant, we had this nice little community I had been practicing with, and we had a really great energy every time we had class. And obviously there were things that I couldn't do anymore being pregnant, so my teacher said, okay, she referred me to this book, Iyengar Yoga for Motherhood, and I read through that to get a good sense of what kinds of things were safe in general, what kinds of things were not safe in general. And my teacher and I together kind of developed a series that was complementary to the Ashtanga primary series that I could come into Mysore and practice alongside the people that I really enjoyed, sharing space and sharing energy with. And so that's what this is. If you want to try this practice, all the normal warnings apply. Check with your doctor before starting. This practice is meant for a normal, healthy pregnancy. Also, if you are pregnant and starting yoga for the first time, this probably isn't a good place to start. You really want to have an established Ashtanga practice when you get pregnant to try this particular series here. So if you check it out and you like it, I'd love to hear about it. I hope you enjoy.
Come to your mat and spread your feet a little more than hips distance apart. The size of your belly will tell you how far apart your feet need to be. Take a deep breath in, arms up. Now exhale and come down to the floor. I like the blocks on the first round. Straighten your spine and come down to plank for a moment, and then find a cat-cow instead of lowering down and doing your up dog. Now exhale to down dog and take 5 deep breaths. The goal of your practice at this point is to make space not just for your baby, but also for mama. At this point, your digestive system is starting to be squished a little bit, and your respiratory system is being squeezed. And so we want to elongate and make room for both baby and mama throughout this practice. So on your 5th breath, come forward, straighten your spine, lower down the exhale. Inhale, arms up to the sky, lengthen, stretch your tailbone down, and hands down. And we'll do 2 more sun salutes. Arms up, tailbone down, come to the floor. There we go. We're a little more flexible now. Stretch out your spine, come to plank, and find a cat-cow instead of your lower down and up dog. Exhale to down dog. Take 5 deep breaths. Every pose that you do in this practice, you really want to find your length in your spine and in your chest. And you also you're going to have your feet wider apart at this point in your practice than you do when you're not pregnant. Again, you want to make room for your belly. You never want to feel like your belly is squished in any way. You never want anything to be uncomfortable in any way. You really want this practice to help you feel more comfortable as your pregnancy goes on. Stretch your spine, back to the floor, arms up, and arms down. 1 more sun salute. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale down to the floor. Lengthen your spine. Find a wide-legged plank. And come to down dog. Come to cat-cow. And then to your down dog. 5 more deep breaths. Stretching through your heels, stretching up through your tailbone, stretching your shoulders back, away from your neck. Keeping your hands flat. Finding room for baby, finding room for mama. Take 5 deep breaths. Okay, and take steps forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, inhale, arms up overhead, and back down to your sides. So now we'll do our sun salute bees. Find chair pose. Inhale, exhale down to the floor. Lengthen your spine. And again, find your wide-legged plank. Find a cat-cow in place of your lower down and up dog. Exhale to down dog. Turn your heel, take a wide-legged lunge. Again, you want to accommodate your belly and your hips that are opening up. Find plank. Find your cat-cow. Exhale, inhale up. Exhale to down dog. Bring in your heel, find a wide-legged lunge. Up to the sky. Hands down to the floor. Plank. Find your cat-cow. Exhale, inhale. Down dog for 5 breaths. Keep in mind as you're going through this practice, if you need to take an extra breath at some points, please do. A lot of women will get short of breath during pregnancy, and it's related to the way your circulation is changing and other changes in your body. So take extra breaths if you need to. Move slowly if you need to. Okay, on your 5th breath, come back to the front, wide-legged, straighten your spine, back to the floor, and find a good wide-legged chair pose. Exhale, arms down. We're going to do 2 more. Chair pose. Wide legs down to the floor. Lengthen your spine. Find your plank, wide leg plank. Find exhale, inhale, exhale to down dog. Heel in, come to your lunge. Notice I have my hands on the inside of my foot here, and it's related to that, needing to have your legs a little wider than normal while you're pregnant. It's just a little bit different. Here we go. Wide-legged lunge. Hands up. Exhale to the floor. Find your plank. Cat-cow. Inhale. Back to down dog for 5 breaths. Now you really want to pay attention also to how your body is feeling as you're coming into this practice. These poses are considered safe in general when you have a healthy pregnancy, but everyone carries a little differently, everyone develops a little bit differently, and there may be some pose that's considered safe that's uncomfortable for you for some reason, maybe related to how you're carrying or whatever. If something doesn't feel quite right to you, please come out of the pose. And you can find an alternative, or you can just take a few extra breaths and catch up at the next pose. This is a time to be easy on yourself. Hands to the floor, exhale. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Wide legs to plank. Exhale, inhale, come to down dog, turn your heel. Wide lunge. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to the floor. Find your plank. Find your cat-cow. Inhale, exhale to down dog. Find your wide lunge. Exhale to the floor. Find your plank. Cat-cow. Inhale. And down dog for 5 breaths. Down dog is really nice when you're pregnant. You'll start to feel your belly come up away from your hips for a few moments, for a few breaths here, and that can be a nice relief. Here we go, wide leg, lengthen your spine, down to the floor, and come up to your chair pose, and exhale, hands to your side. Okay, now your legs are already at least hip distance apart. Inhale, come down, grab your toes. Now really lengthen your spine on this one. The goal for you, again, here in your pregnant practice, at this point, is not so much about getting your head to the floor or getting yourself, flat to your legs. The goal really is to lengthen and stretch out your spine and lengthen your chest. We're lengthening your arms here. Straighten up. Hands underneath your feet. Really lengthen your spine and really stretch those shoulders. Make sure this is comfortable. Make sure your feet are far enough apart that your belly has room. And just feel a nice stretch in your shoulders and your neck. Okay, now slowly come up. Take deep breaths. You don't want to get a head rush. It's easier to get a head rush when you're pregnant, so be careful coming up. Here we go. Okay, so now we'll do a triangle pose. I like to use the block in the pregnant practice because you don't really want to engage so much your abs. It's not that it's dangerous, it's that you'll start to get, the ab muscles will split a little bit if you're using them so much. So I just like to use the block to keep a nice alignment, and it's not quite so far to come up from the ground here. But you still get that nice stretch. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, find triangle. 5 deep breaths. But you still get that really nice stretch in your hip. And really lengthen your chest for these 5 breaths. Okay, now, we can't do twisting in our practice here, so we're going to do an alternative pose here. You're going to come down to your knees, straighten out your leg, and stretch your side. Here we are. Take 5 deep breaths, keeping your shoulder down away from your ear, but your hands stretched up long to the sky. Here we go. After 5 breaths, come back to your knees. Left leg out, stretching up and over. Get a nice, good side stretch here. Try to make sure your chest is long and your shoulder is not dumping forward. Your shoulder should be straight up towards the sky. On your 5th breath, come up. There we go. And now you'll stand. Return to the front of your mat. Okay. Stepping wide for side angle pose. Again, I like to use the block here just for some nice alignment and to give yourself a little break coming up out of the pose. You can put your hand to the floor if you want to. I find it more comfortable with the block in the pregnant practice. So stretch way out long through your fingertips and push through your supporting heel. Come up after 5 breaths. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, find your pose. Pushing through your straight leg, the outside of the foot on your straight leg, straight up through your fingertips. 5 breaths. Okay, coming up, and again, we're in a position where we don't want to be doing these twists, so we're going to go to the wall and find a nice half moon pose. This makes a lot of nice space in your belly there. So really stretch that heel that's up in the air away from you and pull that arm up to the sky and pull your head away from your foot. And this is really the most room that your belly has all day long. So take 5 nice breaths here. Okay, coming up. We'll switch sides. Half moon. Here we are. Take 5 nice deep breaths here. Flex that foot that's up in the air. Push it away from your head away from foot. Find some good space in your belly. Okay, coming up. And coming back to your mat. Here we are. Now wide step out to your right. Hands on your back. Inhale. Hands to the floor. Inhale. Stretch your spine long. And exhale. Head down to the floor. You're not focused so much now on getting your head back between your feet. You're focused on keeping that length in your spine and stretching your head away from your tailbone and keeping your shoulders rolled back. Take 5 deep breaths from here. Stretch your spine long. Exhale, come up slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay. Arms out, inhale. Exhale, hands to your back. Inhale, stretch your spine long again. Exhale, bring your head down to the floor. Again, you're not so much worried about getting your head back to your feet. You're worried about keeping your spine extended and squeezing your shoulders in, keeping your shoulders rolled away from your ears. If your head doesn't reach the floor, don't be afraid to put a bolster down. You don't want to be suspended in the air for this one right now. The difference, when we come up, put your hands to the floor and straighten your spine, and then slowly come up. Inhale. Exhale, stretch your arms back. Inhale, interlace your fingers. Head to the floor again. If your head doesn't reach the floor, on this one again, make sure you bring your head down to a bolster so you're not suspended in the air. Take 5 deep breaths here. And again, after your 5th exhale, rather than trying to come up with your hands still interlaced, go ahead and bring your hands to the floor after your 5th exhale. And use your hands to help you come up. Stretch your spine, slowly, slowly exhale, come up. Last one. Hands to your toes, stretch your spine long, head down to the floor. Stretching your tailbone up in the air, your legs long, your spine long, your chest extended. 5 deep breaths here. And again, after your 5th exhale, make sure you use your hands to help you come up rather than using your torso. Stretch your spine long, exhale, slowly, slowly, no head rushes, come up. Okay, step to the front of your mat. All right, take another wide step out. Square off your hips, hands in prayer pose, reverse prayer, and come. So your belly is going to dictate how far down you can bend in this particular stretch. As your belly gets bigger, you're going to be up a little bit higher every day, every week. And you're just focused on stretching your spine long, keeping your hips square in front of you, your feet firmly planted on the floor. After your 5th exhale, come up slow. Turn your feet around. You're going to have to take a step and set up your feet for that wide stance again. Your belly is going to let you know how wide your stance needs to be. And again, come down just far enough that your belly is gently touching to your thigh. You don't want to squeeze baby in here. So we're stretching the spine long over that leg. 5 deep breaths. Okay, and on your 5th exhale, come up. All right, and come to the front of your mat. Here we are. All right, so now for balancing, we're going to do a tree pose. Here we go. 5 breaths here. Now don't be afraid to grab a chair. If you need to put a chair on the outside of your standing leg, go ahead and do that. Your center of gravity is changing every single day right now. Okay, after your 5th breath, go ahead, grab your toe, take it out to the side, and look the opposite way. Again, if you need a chair, don't be afraid to use a chair to keep your balance. It's still a really nice stretch. Okay, after 5 breaths, here we are. Okay, foot out in front of you. Now use your quads and hold that foot up in the air for 5 breaths. Hold your back very straight, hold your chest up high, shoulders roll back. After 5, foot down to the floor. And do it all again on the other side. Tree pose. Here we are, 5 breaths. Okay. After your 5th breath, go ahead and take that toe leg out to the side. Again, you don't fall down while you're pregnant. Use the chair if you need to. Here we go, looking the opposite way. Nice side stretch on your leg. You could also rest your heel on something on the back of a chair if you wanted to do it that way. After your 5th breath, leg out in front. Use that quad to hold your foot out in front of you. Straight back, chest up high. Lengthen your torso. 5 breaths. Okay. Now, you're going to bring your ankle over your knee and slowly, while you're exhaling, find a nice bend your standing leg a little bit. Stretch your back long. And this is a really nice stretch across the back of your glutes there. This one can feel really good. If you're having any like pelvic girdle pain during the day, it's a good idea to drop your one-legged standing poses. This particular one, you could just sit right down in a chair, put your ankle over your knee, and stretch that way, and forget about the balance altogether. It's more important to get the stretch. Here we go. On an exhale, we're going to come down just enough, leaving room for your belly. And that stretch in your hip and the back of your glute. 5 breaths. Okay, coming up. There we are. Okay, one sun salute. Inhale, arms up. Make sure you have that wide stance. Exhale so your hands can come to the floor. Your belly has space. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, you can come to plank, or you can go straight to cat-cow if you're ready. You can drop that plank anytime that you start to feel a little tired. Down dog. Wide leg chair pose. Find your chair pose and 5 breaths. Make sure your tailbone is nice and tucked. Okay, exhale, hands to the floor. Inhale, your spine long. Exhale to plank or just straight to cat-cow. Inhale, exhale to down dog. Okay, inhale, take your warrior 1. Your stance is going to be a little wider than normal, again, for your belly. 5 breaths. Watch for your hips to be nice and square, your tailbone tucked. Your head stretched up high. And when we turn it around, you're going to need to take a step in order to keep that wide stance. Find warrior 1 on the other side. There we go. Hips square, shoulders back, and away from your ears. Okay, putting your weight to the back leg. Go ahead, you may need to adjust a little to find warrior 2 as well. Warrior 2, your legs are straight like you're used to. Warrior 2, I always think feels really, really nice. You're creating a lot of nice space in your belly and a lot of good strength in your back. You want to make sure that your belly is really pointed in front of you. Turn your feet in, turn your feet out. 5 breaths on the other side. I just really like the feeling of the space and the strength in warrior 2. Okay. After your 5th breath, come down. It's okay to put your hands inside your leg. Okay. Go to your cat-cow. Inhale. Exhale to down dog. And down to the floor. Now I like to use a bolster for the seated. Here we go. So we got Dandasana. So legs wide again. Sit up very, very straight. Chest lifted. Shoulders rolled back, down your back. 5 deep breaths. After your 5th breath, after your 5th exhale, go ahead and reach forward, keeping your spine extended. Reach for your toes. We're going to stay up with your gaze up, but still extending long. Tailbone away from the crown of your head, creating nice space in your belly and your diaphragm. Okay, after your 5th exhale, bring it down a little bit. Come forward, try to keep that length in your spine. And the reason we're on the bolster right now is so that there's space for you to come down a little bit, for your tummy to come down a little bit. And after your 5th exhale, you can try to bring it down just a little bit more. You can add a little bit of curve in your back on this last one. Just kind of let it go. Let your spine loose a little. Okay, and on your 5th exhale, come on up. Okay, now we're going to find, so the bolster is going to be lengthwise behind you. Find a good hero pose and come on down and exhale on your way down to lay back. And exhale, lay back onto your bolster so it's straight up and down your spine. And just take 5 nice breaths here in a reclined hero pose. Here we are. And when you're ready, be careful coming up. Use your hands. Kind of go, you want to go a little bit sideways here. Avoid using your core muscles on this. All right, so bring your bolster out. Do a quick cat-cow. Exhale to down dog. And back to seated. We're going to keep the bolster out just for these next couple of poses. You're going to cross knee over ankle again. And you're going to have left arm up, right arm down. Clasp your hands behind your back. And really stretch, open, this is a chest opener here. You're opening both your hip and your chest at the same time on this one. 5 breaths. Really stretching your head up high. Okay. And then gently adjust your feet. That's ankle over knee. And that hip open up. Okay. Right arm up, left arm down. You can use a strap to get your hands to find each other if you need to. Okay, opening your hip and your chest at the same time on this one. Sitting up very straight, opening up your heart area. 5 breaths. Okay, now gently pull your leg out of here. We'll do one quick plank, or just cat-cow to down dog. Okay, back to seated. Tuck your right leg back, left leg in front. And come down only as far as your belly lets you. Early on, you can grab the foot with both hands. As you go on in your pregnancy, you may not be getting both hands around your foot anymore. That's okay. You're just stretching your spine long, getting a nice hip stretch here. Slowly, gently, switch your legs. Right leg front, left leg back. Take your time. This is a good place to get an extra breath or two. Grab your toe, spine long, and we lean forward. And you want to bring your chin towards your chest, but the bigger motion is trying to get your chest to meet your chin. They won't quite come together, but that's the sensation you should have, is really trying to bring your chest to your chin to help lengthen and find this stretch here. After your 5th breath, one more transition. Let's do our cat-cow. Inhale. Exhale to down dog. And now for our down use, I'd like to bring the bolster back. Again, to make a little space for your forward bends. Okay. So when you do your Janyu here, you want to make sure you're taking the twist out. Normally there's a little bit of a twist over your straight leg. Not in the pregnant practice. We're going to keep the belly straight ahead. And just reach for that toe. Again, earlier in your pregnancy, you'll be able to reach both hands to your foot. In this one, we're keeping our gaze up and your low back concave. After your 5th breath, gently switch your feet. Here we are. Stretch your spine long. Reach for your toe. Gaze stays up. Chest stays high. Tailbone tucked down towards the floor. No twist in the belly. Belly should be pointed straight in front of you. 5 deep breaths. Stretching your spine long, creating space. Okay. Now switch your feet back. Now we've got the bolster here, so we can't bring the foot under like our normal practice. So what we're going to do is go ahead and bend your right foot in again. Go ahead and move slow. You're going to grab your toe. You're going to stretch up long, then you're going to grab your toe. And you're going to do the same stretch, but this time your gaze will be down with that same sensation of your chin pointing down a bit and your chest really stretching to meet your chin. So this one has a downward gaze. 5 breaths. And we're working more on lengthening the spine more than we are working on bringing your head down to your foot. Again, no twist in the belly. After your 5th breath, come up straight. Switch your legs. Okay, stretch your spine long. Fingers around your toes. Stretch up. Gaze comes down. Belly stays straight, no twist. And we stretch out over that leg. 5 deep breaths. Okay, after your 5th breath, come up. Gently bring your leg out. And now we'll go ahead and do Janu Si. Go ahead and turn your toes down, ankle up, hip open, spine very straight, and lean over whatever amount you can. And we'll keep our gaze down on this one. 5 breaths. Chest comes to meet your chin. Tailbone down. Hip relax to help it open up. 5 breaths. Okay, gently switch. Okay, toes turn down, heel turns up. Open that hip up. There we are. Reach forward whatever amount you can. Fingers around your toes. Chest towards your chin. And 5 deep breaths. Okay, carefully, slowly, come on out. All right, let's get the bolster out of here. Give ourselves a little transition, little cat-cow. Inhale, exhale to down dog. All right, and here, since Morichiasanas are out, so what we're gonna do, as an alternative here, we're gonna stretch, do a low lunge here with your knee to the floor. Stretch that hip out. Clasp your hands behind your back. Open up your chest, open up your hip. 5 deep breaths. now we're going to stretch back. We're going to stretch that left foot, flex your left foot, and lean back. You don't want to go too far back because you'll lose the stretch in your front leg there. You want to really feel a stretch all through the back of your leg in front of you. 5 breaths. Chest comes to your chin. Okay. You'll notice I double fold my mat there because I have sensitive knees. You can double fold your mat if you need. Transition with your cat-cow. Exhale, down dog. Double fold the mat if you need to. Knee down, leg in front, and we're going to stretch the hip flexor on the left side. Clasp hands behind you. And stretch out that hip. Stretch that chest. 5 breaths. Okay. Again, we're going to stretch the back of the leg that's in front. Don't come so far down that you lose that stretch. Come just enough that you really can feel all the way from your hip to your heel. Back of your leg, getting a nice stretch here. Five breaths. Okay, now let's do one more transition. Cat-cow. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. All right, and now we're going to go for monkey pose, for a split. So I take a couple extra breaths here to get ready for it. And we'll bring your right leg forward. I like to use the blocks to get into it. Be gentle with this split. It's easy to overstretch in pregnancy because of the hormones that are coming through your body, to loosen all your ligaments, get your hips prepared for childbirth. So if you didn't have a great split before you were pregnant, maybe don't stretch too far into this. You can put a bolster right underneath you, kind of crosswise to your body so that you're not going so far down. But this is a really nice way to open those hips up and get ready. Okay, come carefully out of it after your 5th breath. Give yourself a cat-cow. Inhale, exhale to down dog. Left foot forward. Find your split. You can use your blocks to help you get there. Be slow. Pay attention to your body. No overstretching. And there you are, 5 breaths. You want to make sure that the leg in front of you, knee points up. Leg behind you, knee points down. Your hips are square. Okay, and after your 5th breath, slowly bring your leg in. Here we go. Cat-cow. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Take a couple extra if you need to. Okay. Okay, and we're going to come to one more deep hip opener. You're going to cross knee over ankle, ankle over knee. Go ahead and put a block in between your knee and your bottom foot if you need to, if there's space there, or a folded blanket works also. And you're going to sit up very straight. Bring your chest to your chin again. Let gravity do the work on this one with your hips opening. After 5 breaths, you're going to go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. Knee over ankle, ankle over knee. Sitting very straight. 5 deep breaths. It doesn't really matter what your arms and your hands do in this particular pose. We're just going to relax your hips, Relax your legs down, holding your back very straight, your chest up high. Letting gravity do the work for you. 5 breaths. Okay, and after your 5th breath, we're going to do our transition one more time. Come to plank or just straight to cat-cow. Inhale, exhale. All right, and we're going to work on back strength now. Go ahead and raise your right hand up, left leg back. Keep that lifted leg, your lifted foot flexed. After 5 breaths, come down and switch. Left hand up, right foot flexed. And work on strengthening your back. As your belly gets heavier and as your spine starts to change to support the baby, you really will have a rounding sensation in your back, even though it's not really rounded. It'll be closer to straight. We're working on that low back strength here. You're going to do 3 times on each side. So here we are. Here's the 2nd time. Left hand up, right foot back. 5 breaths. And this is one, if you're feeling tired, skip this one. Give yourself a nice series of a lot of cat-cow if you're feeling tired. Cat-cow is great when your belly's very big. Belly down activities in general are great for you later on in your pregnancy. It helps get baby positioned properly. So don't be afraid to just leave out the strength exercise and do some extra cat-cow. Okay, here we go. Cat-cow, down dog. And what we're going to do now is come into a nice, long, wide-legged squat. Squatting is also a really important one as you get later in your 2nd trimester and all through your 3rd trimester. This can really help you get ready for that delivery part of labor. So you're going to really think about tucking your tailbone down, holding your chest up. If this feels like too deep of a stretch, or if your legs are tired, you can go ahead and put a block under your tailbone and go ahead and sit on the block. It's more about the position than the strength. Here is what's more important for preparing you for delivery. You can also lean your back up against a wall. You can do both. You can lean up against the wall and you can also have a block under you if you'd like to. We're going to do a nice long squat here. Okay, after 10 breaths, go ahead and stretch your legs up slowly. Okay, and we'll do a cat-cow again, down dog, and we're going to come into a nice long pigeon. I like to put the bolster under my arms and forehead for pigeon. Give yourself a little extra room for the belly there again. And you're just going to relax into this. You're going to take 8 to 10 breaths on each side. Don't worry about forcing this. Again, you don't want to overstretch. There's a potential to hurt yourself in pregnancy when you overstretch. Your body is looser than normal. So be gentle with yourself. Let gravity do the work. Take deep breaths. You want to feel the back of your lungs filling up with air. And let it all go. Okay, after about 8 to 10 breaths, come up to down dog. Give yourself a minute. Get the blood flow back to your legs. And go ahead and switch sides. Okay, coming down only as far as is comfortable. And take deep breaths. Let gravity do the work here. No forcing. Use more bolsters or more pillows under your head if you need to. Okay. And then if you are practicing next to people doing the traditional primary series right now, you're going to meet back up with them when we get to Baddha Konasana. Okay, so we'll come out. Give yourself a minute. Get the blood flow going in your legs. And we all come back. Baddha Konasana. Okay, stretch up high. Okay. And go ahead and curl your spine for this one. Again, you don't want to compress your belly. Keep your belly soft. But it's nice to just kind of let your back go for a minute. Let it feel loose. 5 breaths. Let your hips open up. Let gravity do the work there. Okay, coming up. All right, what we're going to do now is a wide-legged forward fold. Legs to a 90-degree angle. Go ahead, lay on that bolster. Leave room for your tummy. On the other side of the bolster, grab your toes. Turn your head and just relax. 5 breaths. Okay, come up slowly. Take a breath or two here, sitting up very straight. And now we're going to reach over to the right side for 5 breaths. Keep that side body, that long side body on your left side pointed towards the ceiling. You don't want it going forward, you don't want it going back. After 5 breaths, come up. And we'll just take a minute here in the middle. This is your transition. And then you'll go over to the left side. Okay, that elongated side of your body, again, needs to point towards the ceiling, not in front of you, not behind you. Long and straight up in the air. Keep your feet flexed. Coming up after 5 breaths. Go ahead and take a pause and a few breaths sitting up very straight in the middle here. Okay. And now, if you've reached the point in your pregnancy where you can't lay flat on your back anymore, you'll come up on the bolster like this and we'll do a half happy baby pose. Really work on opening the hip. If you're a little earlier in your pregnancy and you can lay flat on the floor, by all means, go ahead and lay flat on the floor for this one. Okay, after 5 breaths, go ahead and take the toe, bring the leg out to the side. And if you need to, you can put another bolster under your thigh of the extended leg. Since you're sort of suspended in the air here a little bit, up on the bolster, it might be more comfortable to go ahead and put another bolster under your thigh there. So after 5 breaths, bring it back to half happy baby. And bring that leg down and do it all again on the other side. Leg to half happy baby. 5 breaths. And then you'll switch to leg out to the side after 5 breaths. Here we are. Pull in a bolster if you need to under that leg, under your left leg going out to the side. Help you keep your balance, help make it more comfortable. 5 breaths. Okay, go back to half happy baby. Here we are. Roll to your side to come up out of this one. Okay. Done with the big bolster. All right, give yourself a transition. Cat to cow. Down dog. And now we'll go ahead and pull a side plank. You need a lot of strength here, especially as you start to get heavier, as your belly starts to get bigger again. Go ahead and drop this when it starts to feel like too much. This might be one of the first things that you end up dropping. After 5 breaths, we're going to give ourselves a minute. Cat-cow. And switch to the other side. Okay. Over to our side. Here we go. Side plank. Arm up to the sky. Chest open and extended. If you are dropping the side plank, go ahead and just do another long series of cat-cows. You can't get enough cat-cows towards the end of your pregnancy. Okay, to a down dog. So now we're going to come into a nice supported bridge. I'm going to bring a block in behind you. Go ahead and lay back and lift up on that block. You can have it at whatever height feels nice. If you do want to put some strength into this, I really don't recommend coming up off the block. You don't want to use your abs right now, but drive your feet down into the floor, and you can feel some strength coming up through your knees and your thighs and your glutes, some there. Take 5 breaths here. Okay, and then roll to your side to come up. And now we're going to go ahead and do a back bend, a full back bend with the chair. Again, giving your abs a break here. So we're going to put the bolster on the chair and slowly find your way to a back bend. It's best if you exhale on the way down. Go slowly. Exhale all the way down. Find your hands to the floor and just stretch. Pay attention to how your body feels here. I can tell you, in my first pregnancy, back bends did not feel good, so I didn't do them. And I think it just had to do with the way the first baby was carrying. Second pregnancy, back bends felt great, so I do them. Pay attention to what your body is telling you, and only do back bends if they feel good to you. 5. Take as many breaths as you're prepared for, and when it's time to come out, please slide down to the floor like you see here. Sitting up straight in that chair is a great way to get a head rush and really kind of ruin your feeling. So we're done with our back bend. Put the chair aside, and now we're going to get set up for shoulder stand. Okay, so we need 3 chairs actually here. So we'll do a Dandasana again, wide leg, 5 breaths, back very straight. Okay, come forward for 5 breaths, keeping your chest raised to your chin. Okay, coming up after your 5th breath, and now we're going to get ourselves set up for that shoulder stand. You're going to grab 2 more chairs. I like to cross over a mat here. Just, you don't want your chair sliding out from under you. That could be pretty dangerous. So, and don't worry if it takes you a little bit of time to get set up. You're not going to stay up in the air quite as long as maybe some other people practicing around you. So we're going to put our chairs kind of in a triangle here. If you want to visualize it forward, we're going to be doing our halasana onto these 2 other chairs. So here we go. We get everything set up in a triangle. All right. And now you're going to use the first chair we set up. You're going to use to help you get boosted up in the air. Okay, so put your legs on the chair, push up gently, exhale to shoulder stand. There we are. And take 5 or 10 breaths, whatever feels good to you. So inverting while you're pregnant is safe. Falling down while you're pregnant is not safe. Please take precautions with your inversions, with your belly getting bigger and your weight changing, your center of gravity changing really frequently, actually, as you're practicing. Be very careful. Use the props. Okay, when it's time for halasana, when you feel ready for it, bring your 2 feet down to the other 2 chairs. And you can push up off your toes and really straighten your back out. Sounds nice. And then you can play around with your legs a little bit too. You can cross ankle over knee and give yourself a nice kind of hip stretch for 5 or 10 breaths. Switch across to your legs. Push for 5 or 10 breaths. Ankle to knee. You can do a Baddha Konasana in the air if that feels good to you. Whenever your body is ready, go ahead and come on out of this. You'll bring your 2 feet back to halasana on the 2 chairs. One more cross. Okay, coming back up. Here we go. 2 feet to the chairs, and then carefully find your 3rd chair and come down to the ground. Roll to your side to come up out. Okay, and then go ahead and stretch your chest out with a nice camel pose. About 5 breaths. Okay. And now we're going to move over to the corner to do a headstand. You're going to use a chair again to get yourself up in the air. Okay, so I've got my pillows or my blankets set up here in the corner. And using the chair to come up, go ahead and put your heels against the wall. And this is another one where the farther along you get in your pregnancy, the farther apart your heels are going to be in your headstand. And at some point this, as you get more pregnant, this might not feel good anymore. And if it doesn't feel good, go ahead and drop it. There is a recommendation that as you get into your 3rd trimester, once baby turns head down in birthing position, there's a recommendation not to go upside down anymore, because turning upside down can kind of encourage baby to flip back. If your baby is breech, it can encourage baby to flip over the way that you want. If your baby has already turned head down, it can encourage baby to go back to breech. A lot of women will do inversions all the way up to the end and not have any problem with it. They won't have the baby turn over, but just be aware that that's a recommendation and a little bit of a risk you might take. So make your own decision about how long you want to do inversions into your pregnancy. So here you can play with your feet a little bit. You can do a Baddha Konasana. Here we go. When it's time to come down, bring your feet to the chair and gently bring yourself down to the floor. And then for your child's pose, go ahead, fold up that blanket and put it on the chair. And then you can do a nice child's pose with your head up on the chair, and you have plenty of room for your belly underneath you there. And give your back a rest. And now the rest of this practice is going to be about nice, slow, deep breaths while you're here in child's pose. Feel the back of your lungs fill up with air all the way, and then letting it all the way out. And you're letting your body feel the effects of your practice, slowing it down. 5 long, deep breaths. Okay, and now we're going to come back to our mat and do the very final poses. So go ahead and find lotus if lotus is comfortable for you, or you can come to Baddha Konasana, or you can just cross your legs. Right now, again, you're just focusing on your breath. Hands in reverse prayer. Go ahead and bring your chin to chest, back very straight, and take 5 very deep, slow breaths, sealing your practice. Feeling yourself grow up to the very top of your head and your tailbone rooted to the ground. Feeling gratitude that our bodies are still able to go through this practice. Gratitude for healthy baby, healthy mama. Thinking of a nice, easy delivery and labor. Now bring your hands down to your knees for a meditation. Breathing slow, fully, deeply, chest open. Connecting with your baby. Filling up the back of your lungs with air. Letting it all out. Rooting up through your spine. And our very last stretch, go ahead and interlace your fingers, bring them up overhead. Drop your shoulders down your back, stretching up your arms, opening up your chest, opening up your back, rooting down to the ground. 5 nice deep breaths. Okay, and then coming down, go ahead and bring the bolster in for Shavasana. Get as comfortable as you can. Put another bolster under your knees if you'd like. Put another pillow under your head if you'd like. Get comfortable here. You can put your feet in Baddha Konasana if that feels good. And then we'll just lie back for about 5 minutes and breathe and rest. Nice job, Mama.